Should a wife be red pill aware? Ooh, good question. Or maybe not directly, just knowing how the male brain works, and also about the SMV scale. You will find, I think one of the things that you will find, rational agent, I've answered this question before, but one of the things that you'll find is I've always been against telling women about the red pill, or telling women, especially now, or against revealing game, I guess, because what happens is it's what's called the observer effect. Okay, it's observing a process changes the process. So if you, like, I had this conversation originally with guys who wanted to say, well, why would I want to play games with that woman? I just want to get down to business. If she's not DTF, then I'm going to move on to the next one, right? I'm like, well, that's fine if you're with the type of girl who is like, can appreciate direct game, right? You're DTF? Yes, I am. Okay, let's go fuck, right? But the thing is like when you say stuff like that, or like people have had my book, right? And then their girlfriend finds my book, and they're like, rational male, give me that, you know, and they read it for 3 days. They come back and they throw it back on the desk and they say, everything in that book is true, and you shouldn't know any of it. The reason they say that's funny, right? But the reason it's funny and the reason they say that is because it reveals the game. Women they don't want to be told that they're playing a game. They want the guy to be a good player of the game. They want to play a game. They don't want to be told that they are playing a game. And God forbid they want to be told the fucking rules. I keep seeing these. I don't know if this is a new thing, but maybe there's this resurgence or this reheating of the sociosexual hierarchies that Vox Day came up with a long time ago. What are those? I've done full videos on this. Alpha, beta, delta, gamma, omega. Oh, and sigma. There is no sigma. There is no sigma males. Please cut the shit. Okay, there's no sigma. There's only, if you watch Vox Day's original videos on sociosexual hierarchies, there's only alpha, beta, delta, gamma, and omega. That's it. Okay. Why do I say there's no omegas? You track with me here. So you've got alphas, betas, deltas, blah, blah, blah. Okay. In alphas, there's variations on the theme. Okay. People will say sigma, you're not sigma. Okay. You're a variation on an alpha theme, if at all. But the problem is in bringing those things up, you end up giving away the game. So if you want to know, like, I'm going to be a sigma, if you're saying I want to be a sigma, you're not. I'm going to be an alpha. No, you're not, because just the very act of conceiving it. If you were an alpha, you wouldn't ask the question, am I an alpha? You wouldn't. So, because it's got to be some, I know that sounds like really zen and really fortune cookie, but it's true.
It's like they say in Game of Thrones, a king never says he's the king.
He's a king, right? Yeah. Exactly. You understand it, right? And so, like when I was in my very first book, when I was talking about Corey Worthington as the Alpha Buddha, the reason why I called him the Alpha Buddha is because he's completely unaware of him. Like he's self-unaware. Like like you see his act. If I could bottle that essence of alpha, I would be a multi-bajillionaire. But the thing is he doesn't it's so intrinsic. It's such a part of who he is. He doesn't, alphas don't think about being alpha. Betas don't think about being beta, right?
Natural born leaders,
natural born followers, right? There's no discussion involved. That's why you're not a sigma, by the way. If you say, I'm going to be a sigma, I think I'm a sigma means you're not a sigma. Because observing a process changes the process, okay? So it's called the observer effect. So why am I saying that? Well, because there's one category called gammas. Okay. Gammas are the guys who are, there's also subcategories of gammas called secret kings, okay? Gammas are the list builders. They're the ones who like break everything down into the most deep. Like people will say I'm a gamma in some ways, right? I'm not. I'm kind of a lesser alpha if I had to like categorize myself. But the gammas are the guys who make Excel spreadsheets to figure out like why it is girls won't fuck them. Right? They're the guys who are like who will go and poll girls. I go, okay, we're breaking up. I want an exit interview. You know, as to why? Okay, now why? Hold on a second here. Now, why did you break up with me? What was the reasons? What did I do wrong? What did I say here? We've been out on 4 dates. On the third date, what did I say that really turned you, like that kind of shit? Like very fucking analytical, right? And I really should show this. I should do another episode on sociosexual hierarchy. In that video that Vox Day is talking when he's describing the gammas, Like the gammas are the guys who want to give up the game. They're the guys. So when you start telling women about how things are, this is how the red pill is, this is how human nature is, this is how women's nature is. When you start talking about game, when you start talking about the red pill with women, you're effectively you're turning you're giving women the impression that you're a gamma. And in that video, when Vox Day is describing gammas, he says women will tell you that they have this indescribable urge to punch the guy in the face, because he wants to explain the game, and he wants to break down all the rules and pick the thing apart like a surgeon and put it all back together again. And again, there's nothing right or wrong about that. It's just anti-seductive, because women don't want to be told that they're playing a game. They want you to be a superior player of that game. And this is really kind of keys in on something I've been talking about, or I've been actually considering writing a book about this, which is a holistic approach to the red pill. And in this case, the observer effect is something that's very key to a lot of different elements of game and a lot of different elements of the red pill. So for instance, if you start saying, if you're going to ask me a question and say like, well, should I tell my girlfriend about being red pill, right? Well, the answer is going to be no, but that's not the final answer. The final answer is, why do you feel like you want to in the first place? Why would you want to tell her? Because you have this, do you think that it's going to improve, or is it going to be a detriment to your relationship with that girl? Do you think that you telling her this and saying, here's the game we're playing and I know what you're doing, right? I've had guys tell me that their girlfriends have read The Rational Male, and then they try to go back to normal. They try to go back to their relationships, and they can't do it because like they'll have a conversation and she'll be like, do you think I'm shit testing you right now? Like because she read that one chapter, that one section. Yeah. So you think I'm shit testing you right now, don't you? You're like, what? You just given away the game, right? Observing the process changes the process, right? So if you give her a backhanded compliment or something like that, yeah. What are you neg hitting me now? Is that a neg? Is that a neg? Are you being cocky and funny? Is that amused mastery? Because if that's amused mastery, then I'm out of here. I'm gonna go back to my mom's. That's how it's gonna. That's you have to be a good player of the game, and to do that, you can't reveal that you are playing a game. Now, so people are going to ask me this. I'm going to give you the inevitable follow-up, which is, well, doesn't your wife know all of this stuff about the red pill? My wife has read my first book and part of the second book. So if you were to quiz her, and by the way, that was a long time ago because my book's like over 10 years old now. So does my wife go, oh, are you shit testing? No, she doesn't. You know, she's down to earth enough to know. She internalizes it, right? So she understands what's going on. Again, as I said before, the secret, or a key to a healthy relationship is polarity. And to maintain polarity, you have to maintain identity. And to maintain identity, that means that there's some things about yourself that you don't have to be. One of the reasons I have a real problem with quote unquote vulnerability is because it defeats having a unique identity, and it defeats having it defeats playing the game, right? Vulnerability explains game rather than demonstrates it. Remember I say demonstrate, do not explicate. It's better to do than it is to talk about it. So don't tell me what you have planned, just fucking do it and show me what you're doing. It's another reason why I always say, like, I don't really care about accolades. I don't care about like people, oh, you just want to sell more books. Well, yeah, I'm an author, thanks. But my ultimate goal is not necessarily book sales so much as it is watching people show me what they've built with the material that I put out there. That's more of a, stroke my ego. It's more complimentary to me. It's more of a fulfilling and rewarding to me to see what people do with the material and the information that I help them out with. If it saves your life, great. If it helps you benefit from your life, it got you out of a bad situation, fuck, man, show me, tell me about it. I would much rather see what you did than you tell me, well, I read your book and this is what I plan on doing. Or I get guys in my Patreon group, or I get guys who are like one-on-ones with me. And they're like, should I leave this girl or should I stay with this girl? Well, if you're asking me, you probably already made the decision and you just want me to give you fucking permission to do so. And I'm not going to do that because you're going to make the decision whether I tell you I don't. So don't ask me for permission. Ask yourself why you need permission in the first place. That's the root of it all. I will boil. It's like, you want to ask me for advice, you want to ask me for analysis, it's going to be like watching the movie Inception. Okay. We're going to go all the way down to the original Inception here. And so you're probably not going to like the original Inception. You're all the way up here on the surface level. Should I leave her? No, you don't, because here, let me go down at the bottom here. This is why you're asking me this in the first place. That's what you need to deal with before you start, oh, Rolo, well, to give me permission to leave this bitch. Then do it. Just, please. You've already made the decision. So when it comes to revealing stuff, again, this is the holistic approach. It's not so much about like, oh, is it best practices to tell women about the red pill? Is it best practices to allow your wife or whatever to read the Rational Male or to know that you're one of those red pill guys, right? Like women, I love seeing these TikTok videos these days. Or I would never date one of those red pill guys. You would never fucking know if the guy was red pill or not, if he was that fucking good, and you would suck his. You would be shocked to see the red pill, or you to see the Rational Male on his nightstand the next morning. So don't give me that bullshit about like, oh, I would never date a red pill. You wouldn't even know if the guy wasn't a gamma and wasn't like, making Excel spreadsheets about why you rejected him. If it wasn't a gamma guy and the guy was on top of his game and he was good, and you know what? If the guy was that good and he was red pill, ladies, you would not care. You would not care at all. Oh, he's good looking. He's hot. He's a little red pill, but I don't care. I kind of like that. He's kind of dark triad, but I don't want to fuck him. Yeah, because he's hot and because he's got game and because he's a good. That's why we talk about good game. It's why we refer to it as game, because he's playing a game that women want to play.
That's why Magic Trick's so good, because you don't know how it works.
You don't know how it works. Exactly. Or that's why it's enjoyable. Once you explain the magic, once you take it away, it's no longer magic anymore, right? And so when Robert Greene, for example, in The Art of Seduction, which is an okay book, I don't think it's his best, but I think it's okay. One of the things he points out, which I think is absolutely true, is that to effectively seduce somebody, the person has to want to be seduced in the first place. You have to have a willing participant. There has to be the seducer and the seducee. And the seducee has to be the one who's like enjoys the game well enough that they're going to stick around. Sometimes to their detriment, and sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's great. There's more than one way to seduce people, right? It doesn't have to be romantic seduction. Like, I will tell you right now, if Gavin Newsom gets the nod, he will be trying to seduce you into voting for him instead of Trump, right? There's a political aspect to it. Somebody wants you to influence you to buy a car. There's a certain aspect of seduction to buying that car. Oh man, think of how awesome you'll feel when you're in this Camaro. And I'm like, okay, here, take my money.
Car commercial.
Here you go. 2011 convertible Camaro. Rolo, don't you think it would feel so good to be in this car? Yes, here. Take my money. Shut up and take my money. There's an aspect of seduction in a lot of people say it's influence. That's why I hate the word influencer, for example. Who are you influencing and what are you influencing for? Right? What's interesting to me is like we have a more positive connotation with the word influencer than we do with seducer. Yeah, they're essentially doing the same thing. Yeah, but women want to play the game. They don't want to be told that they're playing a game. Demonstrate, do not explicate. So why would you want to tell her in the first place is my first question. And then second of all, don't, because you're giving away the game. And so any kind of impression that she had of you, any perception she's had of you, anything, all of that goes away because now you've given up the game. And now you said, oh, you broke character, right? Yeah. You go to a Renaissance festival and everybody's like, yes, my lord. Well met, my lady. Like they're in character, right? You don't want them to go, well met, my lord. Hey, you want some booze? Hey, we're gonna go out party and smoke a bowl in the back there. Come on, let's go. You want that person to stay in character. Yeah. You want them to. You don't want actors. It's like breaking down the third wall, right? Yeah. There's a third when you're in that situation, whether it's a romantic situation or you're trying to get a job, right? Or you're trying to sell a car or whatever else. If there's an aspect of seduction to it or an aspect of influence to it, you don't want to break character.
Now, is it for women when they're playing their own role. Because at least in my own relationships and stuff, I internalize my own things, especially your book. I would see that when I would tell them anything about the red pill or anything, they internalize it themselves and they would understand at least like they're playing their role and I'm playing mine.
Yes.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yes. And they don't want you to break character. That's why when guys like when I show those videos of those guys floating around like manatees in the the men's conference or something like that, exactly. And they're or they're angry and like like Arnold with his fists like and he's angry because you see his fist, right? That's giving away the game.
Yeah.
That vulnerability is giving away the game. And women don't want, again, as Rich Cooper says, women don't care about a man's struggles. They just wait at the finish line and they bang the winners. Well, to get to be a winner, you have to go through some struggles, and women don't want to know about what those struggles are because they want to believe that you just get it, that you just know what you're talking about, because that's what's going to inspire long-term security for a woman, is like, you got there, you know what you had to do, and now you're here. If women can get a turnkey relationship, they would. There's no such thing, but if they could get it, they definitely would.